What's good, fam? This is Pastor G, and I love to be in the company of and have conversations with individuals that at least I believe are genuine. You know, authenticity means a lot to me, and so I had the opportunity recently to sit down with someone who falls in that category. This person is a humanitarian. They shape and mold young people within the communities so that they become productive adults. They provide leadership to thousands and thousands of men globally. And last but not least, this person has no qualms about talking about the fact that they have a great relationship with God. The person that I'm talking about is Ricky L. Lewis, who is the Grand Basileus of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So stand by. We're going to have a conversation and you'll be able to get to know a little bit more about this man who knows and loves God. Coming up next on The Trifling Ones. What's going on? This is Pastor G, and I am live coming from the Florida Statewide Workshop for the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And I am sitting here with none other than Brother Grand Basileus Ricky L. Lewis. And so, Brother Lewis, how you doing?
Good.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you, man. Appreciate this opportunity. Good to come back home.
Wonderful, because you are from Pensacola.
Yeah, from Pensacola, Florida.
Wonderful,
Good to be back in
wonderful.
Florida.
So at the Grand Conclave this year, 54 days ago, you became the Grand Basileus of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes, yes.
And for those of you who don't know, that means that this man that's sitting next to me is the international president. Not only the United States, but across this world, provides leadership for the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So tell me, how do you feel about that?
Hey, it's a daunting task, but one I embrace. Yeah, as I say all the time, you got to read the fine print. You know, you leading leaders.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, you are the leader of leaders.
Correct.
And internationally. So I'm humble, number one. I'm honored, number two. And it's a responsibility I don't take lightly. I think about it all the time. I understand every time I say something, do something, the way I dress, anything I do, I'm representing you.
Absolutely.
I'm representing Omega men from around the world. And I'm just honored to have this opportunity.
Wonderful. You and I, we've talked previously, and one of the things that I would describe you as is a bruh's bruh. And when I say that, I mean that you exemplify the common touch. You identify with, and brothers in all walks of life identify with you. I guess it's a two-part question. How are you able to do that, and why is it important for you to do that?
Yeah, it's just part of my makeup. And I probably have to say back to my dad. My dad, back in Pensacola, he just knew everybody. Everybody knew him. They gravitated toward him. He always wanted to be friends with folks. Before I even knew about this thing called friendship, I just saw it.
Okay.
And I just think it's part of my DNA.
Okay.
One thing I've really viewed is that when it comes to the office of the Grand Basileus, brothers just want to be able to take a picture. As simple as that may be.
Right.
And I've seen brothers be hesitating like, man, I don't want to bug him.
Right.
Man, but I really want a picture. You know, if you see Michael Jordan, man, I don't want to bug him. He's eating dinner, man. But boy, if I can get a picture with the GOAT, if I can get a picture with Beyonce or Jay-Z or Steve Harvey. And so that's why I tell me, I see a brother, I don't care what I'm doing, how I'm doing, brother want to take a picture, because I know it's really a 15-second interaction and he's gone.
Right.
And I just think that means the world to be able to do that.
It does, but you know, I have to say that it goes a little bit further for you, because even you know, my personal interactions with you, I served as the district chaplain for the 7th District, and I remember just one day getting a text message saying, you know, great job on the call today, and I'm like, Ricky Lewis, he's the first Vice Grand Basileus, you know, how did he even get my number?
Right.
And so it's a little bit deeper than that, because you're intentional with making people feel good about themselves, or that they're even there, you know, and so that's a great characteristic and trait.
And it's organic.
And that's a wonderful
Man,
thing.
and I mean, when I say, I don't do it to say, man, I hope he feels the same. I just do it organically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I see it, I like to say it at the moment. Because I remember the time vividly. You did a great job.
Right.
And I think it's important when folks do something and somebody recognize it to just chime in and say, hey, this is a pretty good job, and that's why I did it.
Gotcha.
Right?
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Now, you said earlier that you lead men. You know, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, like, we're men.
That's right.
We are leaders in our own right.
That's right.
And so what made you decide that you wanted to aspire to leadership in this realm? Because when you lead men, like, that's not the easiest thing.
Man,
you know, you'll be challenged at every turn. There are individuals who have done amazing things. So what made you aspire to want to lead at this level?
Yeah, I think it really just evolved. You know, you start serving as you serve as a Basileus, and then you serve as a DR, and then you finally, like, man, I really could do this. And you get folks who've been doing this job before to kind of mentor you along the way. And then when you start to get to a certain point, you say, you know what, I think I might be able to go higher. And you just talking to the brothers. And brothers start feeling good about you, saying, brother, you're a good leader. I think you can lead this organization. And as I said earlier, just authentically, it just happened.
Gotcha.
And the brothers embraced me. You know, I got a chance to travel, see the brothers. I think one of the big pieces is to be able to go out and see the brothers, go touch the brothers, or meet them where they are. This is a big fraternity.
Yes.
Both internationally and nationally. And when brothers see a brother named Ricky Lewis, or any brother flying all the way from Los Angeles, this week he in Miami, next week in New York, like, man, this brother right here is serious about this.
Yeah.
And it just organically happened.
Got you. So in 1981, you didn't
No.
you didn't cross over in 1981 and say,
No,
oh man, I want to be Grand Basileus
No,
one
sir.
day. No,
No,
so it just
sir.
kind of as you evolved within the organization.
Right,
Understood.
right.
Makes a lot of sense. So I got to ask the question because as a minister, what role has faith played, not just in how you lead, but also for you as the man, Ricky Lewis?
Good question. Born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. Like anybody in the South, mom and daddy went to church. We all went to church. I got baptized at a very young age, Baptist.
Okay.
Daddy was a deacon, trustee in the church. Mom was actively in church. So church has always been part of us. The Bible, always, Jesus Christ has always been part of our lives. And met this pretty girl from Houston, Texas. She's a God-fearing woman. So just that foundation, home, originally as a little boy, home now with my wife and 2 boys, just part of what we do. We believe in the power of prayer. We can't do this thing without the Lord. We just give him all the praise and all the glory.
Gotcha.
Being able to, I just told the brother earlier today, man, we flying all across this country. Man, you got to be lifted up. If you try across this country with this pandemic we're in,
Right.
It's just important to have that faith, and that's really what drives me, both personally and fraternally.
Yeah. So now, in your role, you've got to make some really difficult decisions. Tell me the role that faith plays from that perspective.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. You know, you got to, you know, if you're talking to a lawyer, you know, he's looking at black and white. And he might say, man, you might want to pray on it. Here's a yearbook grant, but what's the black and white? So, yeah, I make decisions and I pray on it. I think about it just to make sure I just feel good about the right decision. I just tell a prime example, you know, appointing Brother Roy Johnson as Grand Chaplain.
Yeah.
I had a couple choices, and I told all the 3 choices that I had that I was looking at all 3 of them, and literally prayed about it. And I said, man, this is the right guy. And man, I'm telling you that I got so many compliments from brothers. I didn't even think that was important to them.
Right.
But just praying about it and came up with the right decision, and it worked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, people see you. I don't know if Ebony Magazine still does this, but I remember there was a time when you knew that if you provided leadership in an organization like Omega Psi Phi, that you would be considered one of the top, I think it's 100 influential or what have you. So, you know, there's that. I guess the question I have is, what do you want people to know about you, Ricky L. Lewis, the man?
He loves his wife,
Okay.
father to his children. If he say he's going to do it, he's going to do it. He's a man of his word.
Gotcha.
A man of integrity and character. You know, down south, when people pass in a funeral, they pass the lady who's sitting on the front row and her husband in the casket. As my daddy would say, if they say he was a good man, they don't have to say no more. So when the good Lord take me home 50 years from now and they pass in front of my wife, I want the bruh to say he was a good man. That's it. That covers it all. He's a good man. And I just want bros to feel that way. Ricky Lewis is a good man. He's a good bruh. He's the bruh's bruh.
Right, right.
The man say he's going to do it, he's going to do it. He's a man of his word. So just those simple rudimentary things helps out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because you said that, and that was actually an answer to another one of my questions because, you know, when I am at a funeral or a homegoing service, I often think, that's when I become really reflective and I say, if I were laying there, what would I want people to say about me?
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
the fact that you said that he was a good man, you know, that says a whole lot. I have one more question for you. So at the conclusion of your time as Grand Basileus of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, what do you want to be remembered for the most?
Boy, the most. Let me give you two answers, both internally to the fraternity and external. Let me talk external first. I want people, the brothers, to say, this guy, under his leadership, impacted the lives of young black boys. Okay. We can show through metrics that he disrupted the school to prison pipeline. Is it going to be the panacea to all the problems in our communities? Absolutely not. But this brother in this administration, he dug deep and disrupted the school to prison pipeline. We have more young boys going to college and trade schools and going to the penitentiary and the cemetery. Internally, I just want the brothers to believe that I was authentic, organic brother, brother who said he's going to do something, he did it, got it done, good leader, listen. I think that's one of the biggest traits any leader can have is just to listen. I say it all the time, and I'll say this, and I'll pause. The Grand Basileus is not the smartest brother in the fraternity. Right. No, nowhere near. That's why, as a Grand Basileus, if you listen, then you'll find out who the smartest brothers in the fraternity. And listen to other ideas and suggestions. Right. My way ain't the highway, and my way ain't the right way. My way is just to listen and get good grasp of what brothers think, and take the data and go from there. So I think externally, impacting the lives of these young black boys, and internally just being a good brother to the fraternity.
Wonderful. Well, I want you to know that I will continue to keep you lifted in prayer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
On your journey because it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that there's a burden to leadership.
Oh, yeah.
And so I want you to know that in the midst of the criticisms that you may face and that you're going to have to hear and the challenges or what have you, I do want you to know that there's at least one individual sitting in the background who's keeping you lifted and undergirding the decisions that you made through prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Everybody, again, this is our 42nd Grand Basileus, Brother Ricky L. Lewis, 1981, who hails from the 12th District. I appreciate the time that you've taken to speak with me on this day.
Thank you.
You be blessed.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thank you.